Orimund's Anvil. I guess that's how we say it. Regardless, I'm just going to call it Anvil, guys. Let's talk about the perks and traits and intrinsic things that are going on with this thing, as well as the masterwork. I actually spent well over 25 cores today trying to get this sucker masterworked in the way that I wanted to get it masterworked, and it was a bitch. But I had to see how the different masterworks stacked against one another, whether it was range, whether it was handling, you know, magazine, all that goody good. So let's talk about it. Under pressure is the trait, guys. Moving on, you've got accurized rounds and steady rounds. You also have the IS2 classic sight, the Model 6 loop sight, and the Mark 15 lens sight. Intrinsically, as you see, there's the precision frame. This thing's got a recoil direction of 75, which means with precision frame, I've kind of guesstimated that precision frame adds on somewhere around 30 or more ticks to the recoil direction. So you're well above 100 or more, and so that is the max. So you'll always have vertical recoil with this weapon. No need to use a kinetic counterbalance mod. Okay, so let's talk about these perk combos here, man. You see that I was using accurized rounds, which sounds crazy. I get it. When I first picked up this weapon, I masterworked it with the +5 range mod. I threw on steady rounds, was advocating for more stability. I was gonna have, of course, the range mod to counter me not using accurized rounds, but I realized very quickly, man, the gun is not working as intended. It just did not seem to snag at the distances that I was hoping it would snag, which is what we've grown accustomed to when using these 450 auto rifles. I mean, again, guys, I'm looking for a gun. I'm just trying to find a weapon to beat out Uriels in every aspect. When it comes to trials this weekend, I want a weapon to go in my kinetic slot for once that can take the place of a 450 auto rifle and do a phenomenal job for me. And with the current loadout that I had earlier today, with steady rounds and the +5 range mod on it, I did not feel comfortable. I felt like I was losing ones that I should not have lost. I felt like the weapon lost traction and target acquisition at distances that I know the Uriel's gift would have continued to keep snagging. And so I got off of that. I went back to accurized rounds. But man, when you throw on accurized rounds and you already have a +5 range mod on it, it has got an immense amount of range, especially with the Model 6 loop sight, that I just don't feel like you need any more range on it. So I re-rolled it again, or actually re-rolled it a number of freaking times till I finally got +10 handling, and that's where we're at today. So you've got a weapon here that is capable, in my eyes, of competing against Uriel's Gift, Prosecutor, and Positive Outlook, and especially Origin Story. Now, can this weapon outcompete? And I'm going to go ahead and label out the pros. The pros, even over Uriel's Gifts and Positive Outlook and those other auto rifles, is that the lack of damage fall off. Without a doubt, with that zoom there, the Model 6 loop sight, with the immense amount of range that you'll have with accurized rounds, this gun has some stretch on it. I know it's got a trait there that says under pressure, which you get that improved stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower. Not something I really take that much advantage of, simply because I normally get a kill and immediately reload afterward. And yes, you could say, hey, why would you reload? Why don't you just keep what you got and just take advantage of that under pressure perk? Yeah, I could do that, but sometimes in the middle of a gunfight I run out of ammo, and well, then you're fucked. The cons, though, and the only con, is that the Model 6 loop sights, just the way it is in combination with the way the weapon, I mean, it doesn't necessarily jump any more or any less than the other 450 auto rifles. Even when I loaded it down and advocated for stability, I still didn't see any significant less hop in my weapon than if it was on accurized rounds. The problem is, though, is that I think the sight itself is just less forgiving, and I hate to just tie it down to just the sights, but the sights will throw you off a little bit if you are very accustomed to Uriel Gifts and the way that big ass red dot is in the middle there, and you're so used to watching it hop and continuously keep snagging shots. This is something that will throw you off a little bit with this one, because it's a little bitty red dot, and it seems like it almost can get out flinched at times. But it's just one of those you just got to keep laying on the R2 trigger with. Overall, guys, Orimund's Anvil, I beat out a lot of guys using Uriel's Gift today, and Prosecutor and Positive Outlook. It was winning ones. that I thought it was doing a phenomenal job of what it was doing. It was being a 450 auto rifle. Whether or not it will take the spot of your Uriel gifts and your other 450s in that energy slot, really it's just going to come down to you, man. I feel like right now it's just going to be in your hands, and it's all going to come down to what you can do with it. I think it can hold its own against all of them. But it's really going to decide this weekend for me when I go into trials on how it's going to match up then. All right, fellas, that is Orimund's Anvil. Get it, use it. I would say that it will be nasty at least for the next 3 weeks. And then after that, hopefully these 450 auto rifles, I don't want to see a nerf. I just want to see the precision weapons like our beautiful pulse rifles and hand cannons get some adjustments to it here on console, man, and we can finally start using them the way we want to use them. Guys, thank you so much for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.
So let's get closer.